Cool. And yeah, if you don't know about me, co-founder of Music Academy, of course, which is why I feel so entitled to say whatever the fuck I want to you all the time. And I realize not everyone knows that and think I'm just some person who goes here who is way overplaying his card. So yeah, I DJ, I make music as Adam After Hours and Joluca, and I'm also working on my first live set, taking our live performance class. And yeah, I think I really struggled for a lot of time to kind of break out of the box and stop making music in a way that felt like I was just kind of following some rules. I just kind of always assumed that there was a smart, like linear way to do it. And I would just kind of struggle with that and spend forever on stuff that didn't really have any juice. And I think because you're on the computer, you're kind of starting from a really difficult position, which is inherently everything you lay down is going to sound like the computer. And that fucking sucks because computer music sucks. So we want to make human music. And I think when you don't come from a musical background or a studio background or like your background, it can be, the way that you approach Ableton, and maybe that's the first time you've ever interfaced with, say, like notes, tempo, rhythm, timing, melody, harmony. I think, which a lot of people, who here, Ableton was like their first deep interaction with music besides like playing a recorder? Cool. What was your first like music interaction? GarageBand, cool. Or sorry, yeah. So like, did you play an instrument before you used GarageBand?
Yeah, I played the flute and piano.
Nice. I played guitar and drums, and like in a way that no one ever taught me really anything interesting other than like learning how to play Green Day songs. And turns out there's a really low ceiling to what that can do for you. And then once you learn how to read tabs, and you can like, I can learn my own Red Hot Chili Peppers songs. And then you're just like, I don't need lessons. And somehow the whole way through, no one bothered to like teach me anything kind of fundamentally true about music. I felt like I could play songs on the guitar and play some drums, but like I feel like I didn't know anything about music. So my like interface with music was always like was starting through the computer. And the only reason I really learned about it was because it felt like a roadblock to making the next thing. You know, it wasn't like a really organic or pure expression, or really, it was really gross, to be honest. I feel like a lot of people that I see now, and like I can relate to them because I'm approaching it from maybe like a means of DJing more, or just like making tracks because I feel like I have to, and not necessarily as a tool, you know, used to express myself, like an instrument and like music should be, or like art should be, not something to just immediately be commodified and entered into some kind of marketplace, which is like not a good vibe. So I feel like I really struggled with my process, and inherently I knew a lot. Like I would learn facts because I can retain facts. I'm a good rote learner, you know? Especially when I'm excited about something, I can do a deep dive. I can focus really easily as long as I care about it. And that was no problem. And so I thought that if I just learned Ableton enough, like the software, that on the other side of that would be fucking huge bangers, you know? And then instead of being at Ultra with my shirt off with somebody on my shoulders doing ecstasy for the first time, I would be on stage witnessing that, what I imagine was a really cool looking guy in the crowd dancing to the Harlem Shake, which was big that year at Ultra. So, you know, I just like, I feel like I had no examples. I had no influences really. I didn't know a single person I'd never met ever in my life that like did music, not even professionally, but like at all in a way that I thought was cool. So when I got into DJing, got into making music with Ableton, it was like great, but I just like I really struggled with it. And I think a lot of what I made was just bad copies of stuff, and like stuff I would like try to make something like this or try to make something like that. And even as I got better or I went to school, I feel like I just had a mindset like problem and I didn't know it. Probably because I was really young, just really cocky and full of myself. And eventually, you know, getting humbled by life, but also meeting people that I really respected. And like we would book DJs that we really liked to meet artists, and, you know, started to be in LA more. And I started to notice that like the way that they approached making music was very, very, very different than me. And it was like so much less thoughtful and less like intentional and less, this is me at that time, less smart. You know, I was like, damn, if only I just hit myself in the head with a frying pan, I could make sick bangers too. And I was like, I'm just clearly overthinking. And it's like that classic Simpsons bit when Skinner's looking for the kids. He's like, there's no children at the 4-H club either. And he's like, am I so out of touch? He's like, no, it's the children who are wrong. And I was like, it'd be like me, this famous DJ is wrong about how they make music, you know? And it was really fucking tough. And I realized I just like wallowed in that for years. And it sucked. And I think I would just get deeper into gear or like find a new thing to get into. And if I felt like I could just learn my way out of being vulnerable, essentially. And something happened along the way where it started when I was teaching class and I would make something really, really quick without any expectation. And everyone would be like, wow, you made that so fast. I'm really into this. Or like, can you send it to me after? I'm like, I just made this in class. This sucks. But I was also like, actually, low key, this is better than everything I made all week, you know? So I was like, what is with that? Why can I make something really cool in 5 minutes? And then when I show someone I spent something 5 hours on, they're like, have no emotion. You know, it's like I'm giving them a test. Or like you play it in the car and they just immediately start talking about something else over top of it. And you're like, damn, this must not be a very captivating song. So that was just like a really difficult experience. And I think on the other side of that now, somewhere along the way, I think what happened is I started to pay attention to the parts of the process that felt really good and felt really easy and felt really fun and felt like really like me, and was able to kind of overcome that fear of just like putting myself out there into the project. And like ultimately, it sounds so obvious that of course you want yourself in the Ableton project, right? Like you want as much as you as possible, and you're fighting against the computer for it to sound like Ableton. And I was so scared of like just being myself and kind of like letting myself just be on the page that I just like would do so much processing and so much shit and like try to worry about mixing and things like that, that it just like would any little bit of vulnerability or anything interesting or juice would be squeezed out of it, and you just have like something very literal, right? Like it would just be like a song in that style, but like probably not better than now like AI would do. You know, it's just kind of like whatever. You've probably made tracks like that. You've heard lots of tracks like that, and that's like so much music that's out there. And what I want to encourage you today to do and walk away with this from is that like the mission for you is to get as much of you into the computer as possible and to make it sound as little computery as possible. Like I should not listen to the song and immediately imagine Ableton in my mind, you know? That is a failing. And I think like I want to hear the song and think of the artist and like wonder about them and what their decision making was, and like be inspired and like be overcome with whatever intention, or maybe my interpretation of their intention, or maybe they had no intention, whatever. That's what I want to experience, and like what I'll go back to. I don't want to just hear something that was literally made in Ableton, you know? It's just like, it's not enough to be interesting. So I'm just going to share with you like that, obviously. Maybe that resonates a little bit. And then I'm also just going to show you like the kind of very unhinged way that I land on sounds and land on musical ideas. So we're pretty much just going to make a track together. And again, in the spirit of being vulnerable, it's like, I don't know how it's going to come out. Hopefully it comes out cool. I will do my best. And I'll just like walk you through every part of the way and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why I might be taking a really circuitous route to something super simple when I could have just done it simple in the first place. But I think a lot of my favorite stuff is really simple. Like I think so many good things at their core, food, music, art, whatever, are like, seem so simple, but are like impossible to recreate in a way. You know, it's just like, why is this so good? And I can fully understand that there are like 3 things playing, but it fucking rips. And when I put 3 things in the Ableton project, it sounds like shit, you know? And I think maybe if I add 75 tracks, it will help the Ableton project sound better. And like, it literally never, ever, ever does. And as I've gotten better at making music, or maybe better at expressing myself, the tracks in my project have gone from like 80 to 60 to 40 to 20 to like, I'm trying to get to 10, you know? And I just think about it this way. When you listen to like old tracks, say listen to like old rock song, blues song, R&B, Beatles, whatever, they did not have 80 tracks. They had 8 tracks, or if you go older, they had 4. That doesn't mean there's just 4 instruments, but like they had to like whittle those ideas down in like 4 channels. Their Ableton session would have 4 to 8 channels if they had it. And you're like, damn, every time I think about that and then I listen to what I'm doing, I'm like, all right, like maybe my priorities are a little not, you know, like out of whack if I'm worried about having 100 Ableton tracks. So yeah, I'm going to start a track in a really unhinged way and just trying to embody all the kind of vulnerable, weird shit that I do to land on something personal for me. Does that sound good? Does that resonate at all? Okay. Hopefully, I don't know if this is what you came for, but this is what you're fucking getting. So let's go. So starting with drums. Who here starts their tracks with drums? Oh my God. You guys are awesome. Not that many. Okay, so many people just fucking start their tracks with drums. They crowd it up with drums. Me too. Drums are a safety net. Do you know why? No offense to Elijah, our percussion major. You can't be that vulnerable with drums. No one's ever heard drums by themselves and gone like, you know? Like, damn, that snare roll really makes me think about my breakup. You know? That's tough. Like, they can make you dance. They can fill in some space. They're very essential. I've never made a song, maybe one, without drums. So it's like they are important, but also a given and emotionally low on communicating feeling. Like, you know, emotional IQ of a kick drum versus like a vocal, those things are very, very far away from each other, I would say, you know? Probably wouldn't want to have a long conversation with a kick drum or like date a snare drum, you know? That's tough. That's like, I know guys like that. That's, you know, they get to kick drum level emotional dexterity and just kind of cap out. And that's really tough. So we want to, you know, want people to feel something. We want to feel something. I make music to get off, you know, like I make music for myself so I can listen to it 100 times over and like, wow, I have this feeling, let's go. And that feels so good when like it genuinely like makes your, you know, hair stand up or just like feel intensely. And then usually what I'm doing is retconning my own life and like planting meaning on old stuff that I had fucking no clue what I was doing at the time, but now has deep meaning for me because I've overlaid my personal growth and picked this as like a jumping off point, if that makes sense. So like I can tell you, if you ask me what this song is about, whatever, like an old song, I will give you a long diatribe about why it's like so emotionally important to me and how it represented a time in my life. When I made it though, I have no idea what was happening. I was not thinking about that, most likely. So anyway, big takeaway, monologue over. We're gonna make some stuff. I'm going to do my best to put myself in a position where I'm gonna likely suck and it's gonna be really bad. And then we are going to go through it, comb through it, and find little bits of stuff that actually is worthwhile zooming in on and kind of bringing into a track. Cool? All right, so in the spirit of this, normally I would have like my drum machine synced to Ableton. I'd have MIDI going to the Prophet. I didn't plug them in this way because I just, whatever. We're gonna treat them like samples. We're gonna sample these instruments. And that brings me to step one, which is why would I use the Prophet? Why would I use the Perkins instead of a drum rack and Ableton analog? So for me, fidelity doesn't exist. There is no fidelity. Like there's synths, iPod, earpod, we do not, like there is no such thing as fidelity. Everything is good enough and sounds good enough, okay? That is like, there is no, this doesn't sound better in like a technical way. It might help you land on more interesting or compelling stuff to you faster than Ableton's analog because that's a gross looking instrument that no one wants to touch. And this is a really beautiful piece of machinery that inspires me to touch it. And so for that reason, I will get better sounds out of this every single time. But it's not because there's something special going on that is like fundamentally different than any other instrument or any other like piece of gear or software or whatever. Same with this. Finger drumming doesn't look cool, okay? No matter how many times or how thick Fred again's fingers are, it will never be a cool look, okay? So finger drumming looks whack to me. And expressing yourself that way literally is just not a thing for me. So with this though, I am like one with this machine. I'm like bottomed out on the design. I love it. Whoever set this up, I'm spiritually connected to because like there's nothing about this machine really that I don't know and there's no screen on it. And that is fucking awesome. Because someone who places a value on like it being an interactive instrument, getting sounds out of it, laying ideas down, and also is like fuck a screen is someone who I feel close to. And also notice, no laptop screen, no iPhone, very far away from any algorithm. This is a good place for me. The computer, even Ableton, I'm way too close to being able to answer an email, which is like emotionally a whack space to be in, yeah? Unless it's like a really sassy email. So what I want to do, I'm just going to like jam on this. I'm going to try different tempos. I'm going to try different stuff. I'm going to start from scratch and just like going to make a beat on the Perkins. And we're just going to be recording the whole fucking time, okay? So I'm going to plug this in to input 3. Okay. Cool. So, okay. And normally I start using session view, but this will make more sense for you to witness in range view. So, cool. So, Ableton's recording. This has its own tempo. Cool. And I'm just going to clear out. I can go to a blank pattern, blank kit, hit play. Nothing's going on. And I'm literally just going to start to throw ideas down. So I have 4 voices. It's like kick, another kick slash bass, snare slash clap slash twang sound, and then like noisy hat stuff. It's 4 voices, like 4 pads on drum rack. So I'm going to briefly abandon you. So I can do all kinds of things like set probability and like odds for like something to hit every second time or every third time. And I can also record essentially automation. Like say I put all these in, I can add shuffle and swing, and then say like I can mess. I like that. So what I can do is record and do things like. Now that like is in the pattern. You can mess with. Nice, that's nice. Put this one every second time. And I can mess with the effects. It has a delay. And then you can change how much each sound is sent to it. I can mute stuff. Cool. And then I could also, so I want to have them separate. Maybe get some different. Cool sound. Cool. And then probably what I'll do is go into some patterns I make. I like to just jam with this thing without Ableton on, and then I don't remember what I made, and I'll go listen to it. And just switch patterns around. Cool. So now it's like, I have this long ass sample. I have lots of drums to choose from. I just created a big sample of different drum beats and grooves, swings, shuffles, whatever, individual hits, loops. It's my own loop. I could have spent, 4.5 minutes, probably excruciating for all of you to listen to, but 4.5 minutes, imagine you just watch me go on Splice for 4.5 minutes. You'd leave. You know, that's a horrible vibe. Doesn't look cool, you know, really, really bad. And so that's nice. I'm gonna like dig into this. I don't even know what tempo I'm at. So what I usually do to comb through the samples, you'll see me do it a lot, is just get in on the clip and I'll just go like force a loop by hitting Command L. Listen to this. And I'll just start 1.1.1 from somewhere, and then I will use the clip tempo to figure out like what tempo I was at. So looks like I was at around 122, seems about right. I'm playing this back at 132, so I'm gonna put it on repitch, which I'm gonna do a lot, which is not warp it with some kind of gross Ableton-y algorithm and just let it do what physics would determine, which is if it's going faster, it's gonna pitch up. Uh-oh. Cool, so we lost, let's see, the tempo, slightly wrong. I think this sounds like a great drum beat to start with. Cool, let's also maybe look for some other like moments. But I'm gonna take this for now. I like it a lot, feels right to me. So I'm at 132. I've recorded a drum beat at 120.7. I put it on repitch. And it's slightly off, so I was a little wrong with how I guessed it. Let's see. I love the way the like delay sounds on the clap. I think it's cool. And like, you're like, you know, some people might be like, but what if you want all your drums multi-stemmed out? Like, I would be obsessed about that when I didn't even have a real reason to do it. And you're like, who fucking cares? You know, think about, I have 600 plugins. So half of them are VST, half of them are AU. So I have like 300 plugins. Probably within those, I can use one to make this work in my song. You know what I mean? Like, there is something, if I just use this and this is the only drums in my song, I'll probably survive. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably okay. Or I'll take some of the other stuff I gathered later and use that instead. So whatever. The next thing I'll do to make it interesting for myself is maybe at the end of 4 and the end of 8 and the end of this 4, the end of this one, I'm gonna go find a little like slightly different part of this loop. And let's see, like maybe over here. Just like further down, and just again hit 1.1.1 here, and I'm gonna flag these. So maybe I'll just like chop this up. Cool, I could see that being cool if it didn't have that gross click at the end. So I'm gonna just chop these up, and again, all of this right now, I'm not using my technical prowess. I'm using my taste of just, do I think this is cool? Yes or no? Way better position to be creating from. Actually, that I think is really cool. So I'm just gonna scrap that. That's gonna be like my 4-bar loop to start with, which I think is cool. Yeah, cool. There's an 8-bar loop. Way more sauce than I would ever get usually out of drum rec. Cool, sound good? So any questions about that before I just rip into it? Any questions like, why the fuck would you do that? I still don't get it. Is that, you can challenge it.
So what were you doing with the knobs? Were you just launching like samples?
No, this is an analog drum machine. It's making the sounds here by itself, no computer. And then you can see it. So it has 4 voices, meaning 4 drum sounds. And I'll show you, put on in. So I have, sorry, there we go. Kick, sub, tom, whatever. So it's creating those sounds every single time I play them. It's like with electricity, it's real, it's happening there. And then all of these knobs, they're kind of identical, voice to voice. It's just like you can change the tuning, the decay, how long it is, and then some different parameters. There's a filter that you can change to be low pass, high pass, or band pass, drive, how much it gets into the effects, and then there's different voices. So it's making the sounds, right, happening here. And so it has a sequencer that's really cool because you can set all these different variations. You're only ever looking at 16 steps, but you can make it half time, double time. You can also put different swing and shuffle on each one. You can give it different velocity variation. You can add probability and chance. So you can make what is functionally like a 1-bar loop, but like immediately make it something that never repeats ever the same way again, which is such a cool proposition to me, which is like you have something that you can see all at once that also is never going to repeat, which usually in Ableton, the opposite problem is like I have a 1-bar loop and it's just so fucking boring and I don't know how to make it better. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. So that's it for the Perkins. Now I'm going to use vocal sample probably. Sweet. Whoa. Don't want to hear that. There we go. Okay, cool. So we have this. So I'm going to go grab some vocals. Let's see. I have some, these are from a friend. I started making a song with these already, but there might be something else in it that I like, so I could grab it. And here's something that has been big for me, which is I used to just be like sample the same crappy Pirate Bay folder of acapellas that everyone has had access to for like 15 years, which is why you hear all the same songs like retooled every time a new genre gets hot, is because just everyone has 5 low quality brandy samples, you know, and they're just in there being just stomped on like just so hard. And you're just like, why won't this song die? And it's like, just let it die. And, you know, it just sucks. So I'm over that. I've just heard all those a million times. Once you've been making music for long enough, there's a horrible moment where you realize, so like there will be a song that you heard a sample in that you just forever associate with that song. And then like 5 years will go by and a slightly variation, different trend on whatever music you're into will happen. And you'll hear that same sample and you'll be like, oh, I want to puke because this is wrong. And then you'll be like, oh my God, there's a million songs that use that. And then you go back to that original song and you realize it's literally just that song looped with a kick drum. And you're like, I made different decisions in my life because of this song. And some fucking person just looped an old song. It's not, they didn't even make anything, you know? And I think that's like a really important loss of innocence to have with making music, is that no one apparently makes anything and nothing is original and just everything's been done. Because then you're just like, fuck. So I think like, okay, I'm not trying to make like a tech house track with like The Boy Is Mine on top of it. You know, that I would sooner die. So I'm just like, oh no, what else is out there? And for me, lately, since I am in a position now with my like music career situation, which is like, I have a distribution deal and management for my solo project, and then for Joluca, we're in a position where anything that's going to be a good look for us that moves the dial, we can't have like a fucking, you know, huge Aaliyah sample in it. It's just not going to fly. They're not going to clear it for us, whatever label, even if it's a bigger one. And so we're like, damn, we have to use original stuff. What a horrible thought as an artist, you know? And then for Adam After Hours, same thing. It's like I snuck in some samples on my album and I signed that and it's all out and it's good, but like, I can't really like do it again. I can't just sample Mariah Carey no pitch changes, no tempo, nothing at all, just big out in the open. I'm still waiting for the day that song, then I'll know that song is finally done well, is when that song is taken down. Because it's like, it's just really blatant. And that's a bad position to be in too, you know. Plus, like, you know, the best part about the song, yes, I chose it, but, you know, it's Mariah Carey, not me. So I'm thinking, oh shit, getting original vocals is really hard, because you go to a session, you line up with a singer, and you're like, great, you write a cool song, and you're like having a great time. You go back, try to finish the song, you realize it just doesn't really, it sounds like a poppy version of the music you like a lot of the time, which is maybe a great thing. But for me, it's always been really challenging to just like stop a finished song that is like in my lane, that I like got original vocals for, and it just worked out and sounded like how I wanted it to sound. Because the sound of the music I'm into, and so much music, is based around either an instrumental or a vocal sample. And it's just like, it's intertwined with music, you know? It's just like, we're just in a position where now everything is a sample. Workshop. So it's really tough. So what I started doing now, which I'll share with you, which is like sampling people that I actually know and can clear the sample very easily. So like my friend Kat, who totally owes me, I was like, hey, that like little cute bedroom pop song we did during COVID, I feel like the song demo, as a joke, was called like FaceTime Lover, and classic COVID song name. And let's see, can I view this on Dropbox? And so like, let's see, where is this? Okay. It's probably just gonna be the instrumental. Fuck, whatever, we'll see. So for example, I made this song with my friend, just, you know, we never finished it. It was just like, it was okay, had cute ideas, how most sessions go. You know, like you have a good time, you meet someone at a party, and then you do a session, you're like, nice, we're friends now a little bit, but like, song, whatever. I don't think okay, this is like a beat I made during COVID. And then I was like, I don't know where that track got to, let's see. And I was, you know, sitting at home one day trying to make a track and was like, oh, I wonder if I could just use what I recorded with Kat, you know, and just like, where do I have some fucking samples? And this is just why I'm sharing this, is because it dawned on me. I was like, oh my God, I can sample people I actually have access to and who are gonna clear the sample by me texting them and just asking them, you know? Instead of like, I don't know how to clear a Mariah Carey sample, you know? I'm gonna pay an entertainment lawyer $2,500, and then another $2,500 for the label, and then give them half the song, and like, that's like probably not gonna be a worthwhile financial or like emotional endeavor for me, you know? So with that, it dawned on me like, oh, it's the fucking Ableton file, whatever. So I'll just play you the track. So like this, you know, these tracks, like something like this, I sampled through this pedal, which we'll get to, but this is her vocals from like, oh my God, I can sample people I know. And it just never dawned on me, because it's like, I live in LA, I know a lot of fucking people who sing, and then I'm always staring at like, wow, I wonder if Rihanna's older stuff has been sampled yet. You know, it's just like, that's so stupid. The answer is not often, and turns out you can get away with doing a pretty cool sample of it, low key, right here. Womp, 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 womp. If you hear it, you can hear that, you know, the accent a little bit. So anyway, it occurred to me, holy fuck, you can sample people you know. This is crazy. And so now my whole process is pretty much like someone will, just like being kind of listening, having stuff going on, and then be like, oh my God, that was sick. Like, I know this person, or I'm like 1 degree separated from this person. I'm just gonna hit them up, be like, can I have these vocal stems and make it, like just play around with it, no pressure. Every single person says yes, and then they're like, great, I was never gonna release this song, and like the producer's like, some gross dude who I hate now, and it's just like, okay, perfect. And I was like, here, give me the song, and then I'll never put it out, and that'll be a nice vibe, so you can get your hopes up again, and a different producer can let you down, But no, so like my friend who I met through fucking just a like music industry person, she was like, you guys should collab. I was like, okay, cool. So we're just been talking, trying to figure out doing a collab, and I was like, she sent me something. She's like, I'm like, what are you working on? Just like a different time. She's like, oh, this. I don't know if it's quite right though. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna put it out. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I listened. I was like, damn, I don't really like this song, but I'm like, oh, there's some good moments in it. And then I was like, can I just try and like make a song with this? And she's like, yes. So, okay, it's in B flat minor, cool. And I already made a song with it, but I bet we can find other stuff in it. So I'm just gonna take a listen.
Show me everything you feel. I don't wanna be in the back of your mind. I cry inside when I'm not prioritized.
I mean, there's definitely something there better than I would come up with in a session, So I'm gonna warp this, complex.
Wanna be in that you might.
Already used that in a different song.
You
So
say you'll try.
I used that.
Losing all my senses, I'm feeling toxic. I want instructions on how to do this right.
Cute.
Disoriented, it's unexpected. I might just panic, so tell me we'll be fine.
Works for me. Probably some juice in there.
Disoriented.
Cool. So for me, I'm just gonna like throw this on top of the drums and just see what happens.
Disoriented, it's unexpected. Disoriented, it's unexpected.
Instead, it was like, it doesn't really know the tempo, but I'll put like 90.
Disoriented, it's unexpected.
And I'm just gonna force a loop. Like, I'm not trying to warp this to whatever she intended or what the original was.
Disoriented, it's disoriented, it's unexpected. I might just panic. Disoriented, it's unexpected. Disoriented. Disoriented, 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 it's unexpected. I might just disoriented.
Cool, and like I just need like a little bit to get going, a little bit of musical reference. Curious also at repitch.
Disoriented, 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 disoriented. Disoriented, 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 disoriented.
Cool, and like often what I like to do is just immediately have some kind of atmosphere. So I'm gonna just pretty much fill the track up with just some ambiance. So I'll go grab, a million different things. Let's go to Valhalla and go to Supermassive and try and get a cool vibe going. I'm gonna put it on the track. Normally I do a return track, but I'm trying to just have like, also let's pitch it up. Was it B flat minor? Let's go C minor, easier for me.
Disoriented, disoriented, disoriented,
Keep going. it'll be all, yeah, cool. So I'm just like looking for, like I said, like I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm looking for stuff that just makes me feel anything. Because I'm very dumb, that is an awesome loop for me. That's like all I need. The breath, hit, one word, awesome. Cool. So hopefully that song's actually in B flat. Now I'm just gonna like brutally play the keys and try and find some cool sounds on the Prophet. So just like any kind of musical idea will hopefully work. Does that work for you guys? Okay. All right, cool. I feel like that's a fucking vibe. So, you know, normally I delete everything after the workshop, but I was like, pretty sick. So, hell yeah. Look how many tracks I have. 3. Out vibes everything I made from 2010 to 2018. Okay? Gonna add some movement to that. I'm gonna kind of use it as like a drone. Would be kind of cool to have some other chords though. So let me just throw that here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play sustained chords to see what works. turned out way better than I thought. So, yeah. So, what I'm gonna do with this is probably either chop it up into simpler, and I might actually join it up with my first take. Let's see how long that is. So, because I like that as home base, but there's some cool changes in there. And so I'm just going to kind of do, let's see what's, so here's what I'm going to do is just I'm going to like consolidate these to a new, I'll like take them in a holding, I'm never going to use them again. I'm going to say like Prophet, C minor jam, Prophet, other chords in C minor jam. And then now I'm going to join them together, Command J. And now I'm going to load it into a simpler instrument. And I'm going to put it on slice so I can just like hit these different chords in a fun way. So here's what I'm going to do. So we have this, and then I have the simpler instrument. We can do that, of course, but I'm actually going to use it on slice mode and see if I can maybe, I'm going to put it on region or beat and or just manual and try and find, like, and do maybe like 2-bar sections across what I played, because I was playing like loosely in time. So what we can do is that makes sense. So I'm gonna slice all these bits that I played, because I'm not good enough with the keys to just like lay down 8 bars of sauce. You know, I can lay down 8 bars out of 80, you know, but I can't. Wow, fuck yeah! Look at that. I really meant that. It's like 10% of what I play is cool enough to be in a song. That's actually generous, I'd say. But what we can do is now I'm going to leave this Prophet audio dump, and then I'm going to call this like Prophet chords, chord slice, make it a portmanteau. There we go. Cool. That looks fucking whack. Prophet chords, MIDI. Okay. Oh! Cool. All right. So, all is well. Save. These should both be color of the Prophet. Nice. And then this is Tet, Vokes. Sweet. So now, what I want to do, I could play it in. I could also use something like use another sequencer to generate me some quarter notes or bars and just see what happens. Let's see if this is going to do what I want. So it's generating a sequence for me. Another thing I might do, to be honest, is I'm going to figure out a vibe for like how long I want each of these to play. I'm thinking like 2 bars or like even longer. Let's hear this. So what I'm going to do is, maybe that's like a kind of cool version, but what I'm actually going to do is just put random on it, and I'm going to do 100%, and then what I'm going to do is record the MIDI out of the random sequence. So I'm going to set the input to Prophet Chords MIDI. I'm going to hit record. So this is going to be random every time. So now I have this like sequence of choices, you know, and then I can put that back here into the Prophet Chords MIDI, and then delete this, and don't need this, have it over here. Take off the random, and then, you know, I could listen through this and think, okay, bop, 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 bop. I have like, you know, 2 minutes of chord changes to listen through. Maybe like that part wasn't so good. Put this here, put this here, and like start to like listen through this and just go, oh yeah, that's a really sick chord to be the first chord, and ooh, that's a good change, makes me feel something. And what I could do with this is, it's cool to chop it actually. I think it's actually sick to chop it, but we could also go look back and like say there's a change that I made, like played a little bit, obviously not just like it moved. Maybe that movement's getting chopped off. Like maybe we're like, oh, actually I'm going to go lengthen that up, or just like go find it. So I'm going to start there. Anyway, questions before we go deeper? Is that at all interesting to you? Does that seem like not how you make music, probably? Cool. So it just made the percentage chance of the MIDI note incoming to random. There's a 100% chance that it was going to spit out a random note based on those parameters, which was 1 times 12, I think. So like this happens too quick, but it is a cool section. And so I might go into this chop here, or like move this whole thing down. And this is where it wouldn't be very fun to watch me do it. Like I'm going to go through and obsessively listen to these chords to find like the, you know, the sweetest, bestest progression. So I'm going to go drop this down to like C1. And so what I could do is delete this. And yeah, anyway, so like this would probably take me longer than I want to kind of care to spend in this class, because it's just like, it's going to, for me, be the final destination. Like that's going to be the chord progression. But I just want to show you the flow. So for now, what I'll do is probably just loop the audio that I had here that I thought was pretty cool, and make a kind of A part, B part. So I have the super filtered So I can see this coming in like here. Cool. And then so I'll just finish this off. Okay, I feel like this is a pretty good 4-bar loop. So I'm just going to put this here, here. Cool, for now. This is what I'll do for now for us. And then for the drums here, kind of want a part where there is no kick drum. So let's see, did I do that ever? Kind of cool, but no. So I might just high pass it, to be honest. It's like right away for me, just like making anything, the moment that I'm looking for is very much a moment. So just any A to B juxtaposition, one thing to another, section to section that just goes, damn, now, you know, it's like it's in and it's out. Or like you're just like, you're somewhere and then there's a destination. Because I'm trying to make the destination, but that's not going to be clear unless I have something to anticipate it. And I think a lot of people get caught up making everything but the hook or everything but the drop or everything but whatever. But like ultimately that's the part people care about. So you could spend, I had this roommate when I was learning how to make music like 10 years ago, learning Ableton, going to school. He would make fully mixed and mastered like 1 minute EDM like intro buildups, because he would make them left to right, like linear, but just would never have a drop after. And it was like, bro, what are you doing? Even I, with very toxic traits, knew that was stupid. You know, I was like, dude, well, that's a cool intro. What's the song? You know, he's like, I'm working on it. That's what I have so far. And it's like, bro, if you're using EQ before you have your like main idea, that's insane. You know, it's like, it's just the equivalent of like a singer or like songwriter just being like, you want to hear my new track? And they're just like fully vocally tuned, comped, compressed. And it's just like, ooh, it snaps at the beginning of the song. You know, just be like, where's the fucking rest of the song? Like, oh, I don't have any words yet. You know, it's just ideas. I thought this was a safe space to share ideas, you know? And you're like, fucking, oh my God, no. So like, you know, making music like left to right is really tough. I'm not, it's literally in Ableton like that, but that's not how I'm experiencing this, you know? So just keep.
Are you trying to get like the main feeling and then you just like really lock that in?
Yeah, so we're gonna spend all of our time now on this. And this feels like enough of a intro. We're already like at a point. To me now, I want to have like some cool bass. So this is the perfect segue. And what now? I'm like, I gotta double down on this loop right here to make something really, really cool, hopefully. And now I'm gonna look to, where is that idea gonna come from? Safe space would be go to bass and just add some sick subby bass, but like I can fill that in my head. You know what I mean? Like, we all know that when that eventually comes in, it will have that. Not gonna be like the most interesting thing I could do. So I'm like, what can I do before that fills up the space? I'm gonna go back to the vocal and see if there's another like part of it that we can use that kind of comes in you know, to like call and answer this or just play alongside it or whatever. And that musically might, you know, change how I move these chords around, or like this will be informed by that and we'll move the music around, whatever. But yeah, it's all about the hook. Sorry. Nah. Here's a loop. Kind of like that. It's like cute, kind of weird. Might just like do that whole thing, put it down. It's just ideas. Make a bunch of them, really. That's cooler. Cool. Pedal. Kind of like that. It's like there's nothing, you know, everything's cute. I want something mean. Have that in there. Cool. And then another idea to try is like, again, treating it like a sample, is going to be dragging this into simpler, grabbing some kind of random generated sequencer. Oh my God. And then putting it on slice mode, make sure it's up 2 semitones to be in key with the rest, and just messing with this, see how it sounds. I'll take everything out just so I can hear it. Fucking rips right away, so done. Don't question it if it's good. So I'm gonna record simpler. Oh my God, too good. Now I'm gonna add random. And record the MIDI too. myself up to like call back to this, like get the MIDI, get the audio at the same time. Because like I don't really want to fuck around with this. I just want this. You know, I'm making a sample. I'm not trying to get into this. So it's like I used to be obsessed. Like, oh my god, what if I don't have the MIDI or know what chords I was playing? It's just like, who cares? Might sound cool. Gonna play with the sensitivity now. Cool. Okay. Anything good in there for you? I think it's pretty fucking sick. So, nice. Thank you. I don't think I need that MIDI. That's fucking. Who wants to go through that? You know. So, just wow, what a good sample that we made. You know. So let's go again. Like a little longer than I want to spend with y'all, but it's obviously how the song is gonna start. See why it's important that I like turn the other shit off, because there's a decent chance that I come up with something better. That's gonna be too foreground because it was the only thing. Doesn't mean it sucks though. It just means I might have found something cooler. Yeah, this. Did this not get everything? One sec. I feel like that's not long enough for what I was doing. Did it make a new audio 2? Almost lost it. Okay, so, when I hit record on this, it started the new clip. Careful. There we go, because I was like, it was way longer. So this is audio 2. Oh, but those look identical. Am I crazy? I feel like I did way more stuff. Oh my god. Exclusive arm. No one was looking out for me. Brutal. Okay, so fun lesson. Because so now we have these, but a lot of cool shit was in here. So I'm gonna go back to put the MIDI on here, take this out, and now go back to 100% and cool, now I'm gonna record it again. This might be a good time to do the noodle. Nah, whatever. I'm just gonna ruin it, the recording again. Oh, almost so sick. Okay, I kind of can't help myself. I'm gonna go like this. Hit command. There we go. Let's go through some presets. Any other cool sound? The 9. Cool. Okay. Should we just hear it all together? It's going to be a lot. Perfect, because what I want, and this is like definitely speaks to some like weird like thing in my brain, is that I want a mess to clean up so badly. I want to color code, organize, name all these clips and arrange them in just the perfect way. And I would always start doing that way too early, and then I would like not have a song. So for me, some demented joy from this is that like eventually I make a big enough mess, and the prize at the end is that I get to go organize it, which is like, some people have the opposite problem, you know, where it's just like, it's all fun mess, but then really hard time organizing at the end. I have the like, I'm gonna organize this before it's even a song, and then I'll have a perfectly arranged, beautiful painting of an Ableton project that sounds just like nothing at all. And so with this, I'm just like, for me to like play in front of you, like play anything on the keyboard or like do any of this is like really vulnerable, because for me, one, I just don't play these instruments. And then the other thing is like melody has historically been very challenging for me to like incorporate at all, which is why you make tech house. Just kidding, Justin. Tech house, therapy, music. That's the trajectory, okay? So, sorry, forgot. That's literally me. So I'm just like, I'm only taking jabs at myself, and if you feel attacked, then that's on you, Justin. No, so, but it's just because it's hard, you know? It's just like, everything you do sounds like such dog shit all the time in Ableton. Once you like are able to like put a really cool loop together in a good groove, and that's also like 89% of the way there to being something, you're just like, fuck, why would I ruin this cool thing I got by sucking at the keys and playing the dinkiest like melody on top of it, you know? And the answer is, yeah, it's hard. That's why I don't do it a lot. And I like still have to push myself to do that, because as soon as it's a melody, then there's like a story and there's a feeling, and it's like, it's emotional all of a sudden, you know? Whereas like I said before, it's like, there's only so much of that in rhythm. And like, that doesn't mean that that's not valid and an important part of the track, and that it's hard to accomplish. It's not that it's like not a challenge, but it's, you know, it's more of a technical challenge. It's like, it's rhythm, it's timing, it's numbers, than it is like, you know, singing, which is like objectively a much emotionally more difficult thing to do in front of people and like put in.
Can I ask another question about,
Yeah.
like, so after you have maybe what we would consider like a little too much,
Yeah.
Do you then go back, like when you're like, all right, this is a little too much? Is that the point where you're like, okay, now it's time for the range?
I'm going to push this even farther. So this is where it gets really unhinged. And this is where I'm like, okay, because yes, I'm tempted to do that now because I'm like, I feel like there's something cool in here that could turn into a song. Oh.
Oh no, that was me.
And all right, we're going to start from the top. That's the recording's ruined. That's done. Yeah, everyone leave. We'll record you coming back in. No, so for me, this is the thing is I know that I can, and this is only from experience, like I know that I can clean this up because y'all bring me shit way less cool than this, and I clean that shit up and turn it out for you, you know? So confidence is there. I know that I can turn this into something. So my challenge is how do I go dig deeper into the well and then keep, this is a horrible, like, but like, I want to like write like there's fucking just, I'm never going to finish the song, and it's just so unhinged. And that's where I take a lot of inspiration from partying, which is not worrying about anything else except right now and just digging myself deeper and deeper into the situation I'm in, you know? And then the next morning you deal with all your problems. And that's, it really like with making music is I was too finishing like one side of my brain on like baby ideas that needed to be seen through before there was more emotion. And then I would just squeeze all the juice out of them. What I want is a lot of, the analogy is going to collapse, or the metaphor is going to collapse. I want a whole basket of fruit before I start juicing it, you know, before I start squeezing out all the good ideas. And, you know, it's like if you like stream of consciousness writing, you don't want to just edit as you write, right? You don't want to feel like supervised by yourself. You don't want to like have you over your own shoulder being like, that sucks. And what you need to do now is like, you have to be comfortable. Like, I know this is messy. Like, I know there's stuff that doesn't work. There's I know there's a lot of stuff that sucks and like that doesn't work. But I have to like quiet that voice, and we got to go make really weird, unhinged stuff to like further push this down. So what I'm going to do is grab more of the vocal, and I'm just going to like let a section of it go. I don't know, like kind of, I would say haphazard. And again, like maybe it seems like I'm like, oh yeah, like you can do this, whatever. Like this is not, which is why I prefaced it at the beginning and why I gave you that prologue, is that this is the opposite of how I made music before and the opposite of what came naturally to me, which is being loose. And then in my, it sounds like cheesy, honestly, but like I really fucking mean it because it's the most important thing in my life, is like continually being in environments where I felt like I could actually like learn more about myself and just actually be myself, and that was celebrated and like not pushed down, you know, or repressed. I was like, oh, and like as I kind of lifted the weight of being like repressed and realized that I had built increasingly a life that I could just be authentic and like not only be not like judged for it but like rewarded for it, I was like, oh, and like that started to leak its way into Ableton too, you know, which is like, oh man, I can actually like do what I think is cool, and like other people might think that's cool too. And when I was doing what other people I thought would think is cool, it sucked and no one cared. So with this is like, okay, I'm gonna keep making weird experiments and snipping out what I think is cool, because it's just like I want to keep that vibe going. I'm also in that already, and like to switch into like start editing is gonna be, this is a bad use of time. It's gonna take a lot of energy. I'm not really in that vibe right now, you know? No one wants to get a fucking call from a number that only calls you when there's a problem, when you're just like, just rip the bong, started season 5 of Sex and the City, and you're just like, what's gonna happen? Is who's Carrie gonna end up with? And you're so stoned, and you're just like, oh my God, I can't wait to find out. And then you're just like, why is Josh calling me at 10:30 at night on a Tuesday? There's no good reason for this. And you're like, do I have to like switch into being an adult again? You know, it's like, I just made this bowl of Golden Grams. This is not a good vibe, you know? It's like, it's just like that. I don't want to task switch. I don't want to do that. So like, this is just going to stay loose, and then I'm going to come to it the next day. Or if I have juice, I will slowly start switching into that idea. But really, more likely, I'll like quickly arrange it just so it's out of Ableton, which is another really important part I'll revisit at the end in like 15 minutes. Getting it out of Ableton, how important that is. But anyway, so we're just going to continue making experiments. So I'm going to go to, I'm going to make an audio track, call this like vocal experiments and then I'm going to record this audio track, and I'm going to put every fucking, sometimes I play make the most expensive plugin chain you can, or make the shittiest plugin chain you can, or just make the longest plugin chain you can. And so I'm going to do stuff I've never used or heard of: surround panner, shifter, shaper, roar, some effects, compressor, color limiter, chorus, auto pan, beat repeat, audio effect rack, 6 delay 2, basic heavy guitar amp, and then cable guys. I crash my computer. Shaper box 3. This is definitely not made by this company, and I hate Ableton so much for ruining plugins for me. Timeless. Okay, so scared what's gonna happen.
Entered as unexpected on my
All right. Just gonna grab every effect I put onto this one. So put my vocal chops sample in there. Not done yet. So close. Okay. Now I'm going to take probably 1/16th note of this and then make it a really cool loop that's in the background of the track. But I like to do that kind of stuff and go like, duplicate it again. Reverse this, and just like I'm gonna make all these textures and different things to like, again, get it out of Ableton, get stuff that only I have, and go find cool moments in this. Yeah. And that. It's just there's so many cool textures in that. And then like I'll bury it in the mix. You know, these will get really quiet. They will get chopped up. They'll get EQ'd. Maybe like auto pan and different stuff. And but I just love having that because that's such a non-Ableton-y thing to have, you know. And then, you know, maybe you double down on it and put like Pro R or like Volcano or something. Like you take something like that and then just really, you know, chill it out, obviously. Chorus, EQ8, echo. It's like when you're at the breakdown of the song or whatever, it's like, it's never just like nothing, you know? You're never just like down to just literal silence. You have all this sauce in there. And then something like this, I might just quantize like to 16th notes, the whole track of me playing those little kind of blinky riffs and go through them like. Maybe put like pretty fun for me. And then ideally I have some nice like reverbs and stuff set up on my return tracks because like it's going to be a really important thing for me. Let's go Valhalla Room. Put everything in the same room. Cool. Probably do stuff like put echo on. Cool. You get so much out of that because there's just so much juice in it, you know? So yeah, I will just continue kind of down this rabbit hole of creating textures and melodic ideas, chord stuff. I haven't like even begin to put in a bass. Probably that would be the next thing that comes as like a last kind of final thing. I'm just gonna go to like, probably just get a more simplified version of like this and let's see, go to the vocal chops. Cool, put it on auto, P6 bass, and then I'll just experiment with stuff and that'll be like, that'll be the end. one shot, like just let that kind of rip. That also might inform the progression, you know, whatever. And I'll just different patch. See, try it. That can be it. So now I've like, to me, successfully made a big mess that now my prize is like I open this up in a couple days, I forget everything. It was like, oh, so much of this is shit. Felt cool in the moment, but like it sucks now. And I'll just go through and kind of like push everything to the side. Like I just go like this, like, and then I'll just be like, okay, what's the point of this song? Like, what's the thesis? Why am I making this song? And I got to prove it to myself in these 8 bars. You know, that's got to be it. It's got to be from all of this, even if each thing plays like 1/8 note of whatever I captured, it's nice to have some distance from it because your effort does not equate quality, okay? It's like, seems really wordy, but it's a really poignant, precious, prescient kind of thing is like, no matter your effort, how much you exert, like time, energy, whatever, has very little to do with how cool that idea is going to be. They're often inversely correlated, which is very frustrating. So what I'm saying is, by giving myself some space on these ideas, I've lost touch with, did this take me like 20 minutes to set up the cool vocal chops, or did I do it in 20 seconds? I don't remember. Tomorrow I won't remember, or like 3 days from now. And what's really healthy about that is that I can then kind of treat all of these equally. Like I don't have any identity or like preferences caught up in like, well, I have to use the Perkins because it's like my cool drum machine, or like I have to use those chords from the Prophet. It's kind of better if it's all just like, who fucking knows what it's from, and like, I don't know how I got it. And when you ask me like, how'd you make that sound? And I give you like a really meandering answer that doesn't go anywhere, lead anywhere helpful, that's usually how it's cool, or the mark of something cool. It's never, oh yeah, I went into Serum, I followed this YouTube tutorial from somebody who makes horrible music, and then I made a sound that kind of fits in, and now you like it. That's often not the vibe. So sometimes it is, but not for me. So, you know, I'll go through this. It'd be almost good if I just took all of this, bounced them all as audio stems, and just wrote like class jam, C minor, no emotion, no vibe, don't remember where I got the vocal sound, don't remember anything about it. And then I just get to almost like, I just get to curate. Like, I just get to listen through and go, no, 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 yes, best part. No, 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 yes, best part. Just like if you were recording a vocal or instrument takes and you'd be like, oh, this take sucks, this take sucks, oh, that's the one. You know, or like I'm gonna comp these together. And I'm gonna treat this a lot more like I recorded a band or recorded an artist, like singer or someone who plays an instrument. And just, it should be a composite of your best idea, you know, the best little bits of all your shit ideas, which like this is full of shit ideas. And like, I know that there is likely 3 minutes of good music in this that I could like extrapolate, you know, I could pull it apart and hopefully convince you to listen to it for that long. And a lot of that often means is if I've done my job, everything I need for the song is already in here, and it's a matter of just arranging it. And that's like, you know, the end. But yeah, that's how I treat everything like a sample. I encourage you to go sample yourself. The other thing I would do is like bring in found sound stuff from my phone and like from my life or my field recorder and just jam a bunch of real life in there. That's always, I think, a good move. And just like record more instruments, send it to somebody to record guitar over, or like record whatever instrument you don't play, record drums, and just get some more, just get more, you know? And then again, like you're probably, if you're like me, you're a much better curator than you are a creator. So like, I'm gonna try and flex my muscles. I really know what I like and what I don't like. I can play very little of what I like, you know, in my hands. So I can though flex the muscle of like, I've spent my whole life thinking shit is whack, you know? that is, I'm really overdeveloped at that skill of telling people also immediately when I feel that way. So all I have to do is now is listen to this in 2 days and just be like, no, 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 no. Makes me feel like crying. So devastated right now. Oh my God, no, 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 no. Like, oh my God, I'm dying again. No, 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 no. That's what I'm looking for. You know, it's like the stuff that makes me feel anything, and just lean into that and chase that feeling. And then hopefully in that you have something that's like other people feel that way too. And like I would argue that if you feel that strongly about it, then like definitely other people will. And you've hopefully then communicated something, something worthwhile. Done. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Okay. I feel like we've been in this loop of this song, so I'm really like feeling that. Okay. I will finish it. But probably not for a while because I need to finish some other stuff for my live set. Yeah. Cool. I feel like we need a palate cleanser. Here we go. Oh no. Literally the opposite. This. There. Oh, the recording. Did it work?